Hello and welcome from across the multiverse. Today I am going to go back to the summer of my youth, 1989. Brightness, sunshine, ice cream, beaches, pretty young things. But across the multiverse, things weren't going to be like that. Things were going to get dark. Two series that had been in and out of fashion with the public were to have a major revamp. Both Batman and James Bond were seen as camp by the public by this point. At least the British public, if no one else. The overriding memory was that of Adam West's Batman and Roger Moore's James Bond. Although Timothy Dalton had begun to change that perception of Bond with his first movie, The Living Daylights, this second movie, Licence to Kill, would be totally him. His take, his view on the James Bond character. As for Batman, no live version since the 1960s, and this 1989 movie would take the world by storm, becoming that year's must-see movie, or one of them at least. Although Licence to Kill was an original story, Bond book readers could see the influences from the Ian Fleming book Live and Let Die and the short story The Hildebrand Rarity. The premise of both the Bond character and the story was to make it more realistic. A drug overlord with fingers in many pies rather than someone with a volcano or outer space underwater base would be the main protagonist in this movie. Also, we see Bond's best friend, CIA agent Felix Leiter, fed to a shark just moments after his wife has been killed on their wedding day. We also see Bond bruised and hurting, both emotionally and physically. The brutality of the storyline and the depiction led to the film being awarded a 15 rating at the cinema. This means that no one under 15 could watch it. Had the film come out, say, a decade earlier, it would have been a killer for me personally, as I too would have been underage. And the reaction to this darker, grittier, grounded Bond was very much mixed by the public. I also remember watching this Batman movie when it came out in 1989, and it was very controversial. A lot of people thought it would be an updated version of the Adam West series, but the Camp Knight it wasn't. People weren't expecting a children's superhero film to be dark and broody. I was aged 23 at the time. I remember telling people about the DC revamp of the mid 1980s, but people just weren't buying it. Remember, this is the period when in the comic books DC killed off Jason Todd's Robin and crippled Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. No way was this movie going to be the Camp Knight. Another issue was what certificate to award the movie for its theatrical release. Could Batman really be a 15 rated movie? So a new certificate, 12, was created between PG, parental guidance, and 15. And it is, for me, a shame that this 12th certificate wasn't available for Licence to Kill. The Timothy Dalton epic would have also benefited from this 12th certificate. There was something in the air in the late 1980s that embraced all this darkness. It wasn't just James Bond and Batman that went dark. Doctor Who also went dark during that period. It too shook off its camp persona to venture into darker territories. Starting with the 1988 season, it went all out with the autumn 1989 season with darker, more mature storylines. Overall, the move to darker storytelling was a mixed bag. DC Comics gained a new, maturer readership, allowing DC to launch a new imprint called Vertigo to cater for the more mature comic books. James Bond and Doctor Who didn't fare that well with the general public, but Dalton did set up the template for the Daniel Craig story arc. Personally, I just think it was simply too early for the public to accept this change in who and what James Bond was. Now, back to DC, and the Batman movie was one of the hits of 1989. Batmania was everywhere. People at work who called me a geek were trying to get tickets to see this movie before even me. Bat-symboled t-shirts and baseball caps were being worn by everyone everywhere. Even I was seen as cool. And if only for that reason, 1989 really was a strange year. And that's my memory and recollection of the summer of '89. Were you around during that, or are you one of those lucky people who were born in the 2000s? But whatever, I'd like to hear your views, your reminiscences, what you think of Batman '89, License to Kill. So until next time, may your news be good news and happy times and places. Farewell.